Your Legislators is made possible in part by the generous financial support of MAPE members, making Minnesota clean waters, safe communities, quality education, and veterans care happen. We work hard for Minnesotans. Live from St. Paul, Minnesota, we welcome you to another season of Your Legislators, a roundtable discussion featuring state lawmakers who are prepared to answer your questions and discuss important issues affecting citizens of Minnesota. Now, here's your moderator for tonight's program, Barry Anderson.
Good evening and welcome to Your Legislators. We're delighted that you have joined us on this pleasant Thursday evening. We're going to get a little reminder over the weekend that we live in Minnesota. This is good. It's a character-building exercise. We'll just work on finding the gloves and the hats and whatever. But in the meantime, this is your opportunity to have a conversation with your legislators, hence the catchy name for this program. So we want to invite you to call in your questions, and we will see that they get to our distinguished panel of guests who will help us unravel the mysteries of St. Paul. With that thought in mind, let's move to the introduction of our panel, and I begin to my immediate left. Joining us, I think we discussed probably for the second time from District 67A in St. Paul, Representative Tim Mahoney. Yeah. Am I pronouncing that correct?
You are.
Well, very good. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
I think I've served, this is my 8th term at the legislature. I retired last year as a pipe fitter from the local union here in town. Lived down by Lake Phalen, and my 2 adult daughters are, they flew off to the big city, New York and Chicago. So we get out there to visit them pretty regularly. District is all in doing well, and could always do better, but it's doing well, and I'm kind of having a good time.
And the committees you serve on?
I serve on Ways and Means, Transportation Finance, Capital Investment, and I chair the Jobs and Economic Development Committee.
All right, very good. Well, welcome. We're delighted to have you with us. Joining us from Big Lake, Minnesota, District 30, Senator Mary Kiffmeyer. Senator Kiffmeyer, it's always good to see you. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Barry. I'm the oldest of 14 kids who grew up in a little town of Piers up in rural Minnesota up north. And then I went to nursing school, married my sweetheart, Ralph, who was in the Army. And both of us are registered nurses, and he went on to be a nurse anesthetist. So we've raised a family of 4 children, and we now have 14 grandchildren, and our 4 have not flown so far. One of them in Asheville, but the other 3 close by, and that's especially good because the 3 close by have the grandkids. So that's something that's always really special and fun.
Well, we're delighted that you can join us. So viewers, of course, may also know that you served a term as 2 terms as Secretary of State, as I'm recalling.
That's right, 8 years.
8 years. Well, very good. And finally, joining us from Plymouth, District 44A, Representative Sarah Anderson. No relation, lots of Andersons around, right? We were just talking about this because I think last year we had a program with 3 Andersons, and it was confusing to everybody. But just 2 of us here tonight. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I represent the area of Plymouth, and I am in my 6th term? 7th? I can't remember. 7th year, at least, at the legislature. 4th term, excuse me. At the legislature, I am serving on Taxes and Commerce and Ways and Means and the Rules Committee, same committees I had last year. And for me, I grew up in Atwater, Minnesota, out in Kandywai County, if you're familiar with that territory, and have 1 son who's 5 years old, and will start school next year. So my husband's at a school, kind of an interview process. We're looking at different schools, so he's doing that tonight while I'm here. So.
Well, very good. Well, let's move right to some questions that we had from viewers. These came in over the course of the last several days. Again, we want to invite you to call in your questions, and we'll see that they get to our panel. A couple of these we can get rid of very easily. We have a viewer from Hutchinson who wants to know, why don't legislators pay income taxes on their compensation? The answer is they do.
Thank you.
It's income just like them as it is for everybody else. So we took care of that one.
Just so you know, I realized I totaled up the hours I worked this week,
yes.
And it's just the end of Thursday. I've got 52 hours in this week.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're any different.
No, it's, and just as an observer, I mean, our offices are across the street. We run into legislators, but particularly as we get towards the end of the legislative session, it's not a 40-hour week. No doubt about that. A viewer from Lamberton wants to know whether or not there's any possibility of medicinal marijuana coming to Minnesota. We, of course, this issue has been in the news because of some voter initiatives in other states. It has been kind of around. Who wants to take a run at that? So we start with you, Senator Kiffmeyer.
Yes, especially because I'm on Health and Human Services
Well, there you
Committee.
go. We found the right person to go to with this question.
And 4 years at that. And, you know, for me, I think that if it is a prescription drug, just like heroin, and you have a variety of other kinds of drugs that are prescribed but go through the prescription process, but in the general area and in a really open way, that's where I have my concern, especially for the youth, that could potentially, it's just so easy, so convenient to possibly abuse it. But I think on a prescriptive way, certainly there have been some medicinal benefits that have been shown for people, especially with intractable pain or other things like that, cancer, some of those things. But I think only in a controlled substance kind of a way is what I would prefer, I think.
Yeah, and I would agree. I had a friend pass away from ALS, and he actually moved to one of the medicinal marijuana states, so that is one of the reasons he moved there. He had some family there, and it was one of the other reasons. So I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think there are other priorities in a budget year, but you know, if it happens, it'd be a year from now that it might even come up.
Any thoughts on that, Representative Anderson?
Yeah, you know, I've looked at the other states that have recently passed it, and I know when it comes to this issue, our law enforcement is very concerned about what kind of impact this would have on our youth. Many view it as a gateway drug to other drugs that have more significant damage to our children, and that's my biggest concern, is making sure that we have protections in place so that this doesn't become the gateway drug that our law enforcement officials and our educators are concerned with. So.
Joining us this evening is Senator Patricia Torres Ray. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, you are.
It was purely accidental. I'll get it wrong the next time. But tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to them. Where you're from, how long you've served, your professional background, those kinds of things.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Patricia Torres Ray. This is my third term in the Senate, and I represent District 63, which is southeast Minneapolis and part of Richfield. And I serve I am the chair of the Education Policy Committee. I serve in Education Finance, Higher Education Labor Force, and State and Local Government Committees.
Well, very good. We're delighted to have you with us tonight, and thank you for joining us. A viewer from Hermantown wants to talk about property taxes. Viewers concerned about property taxes and wonders about whether or not we can replace the property tax with a state sales tax, increasing the current sales tax, I assume. I would just mention in passing that Governor Bob McDonnell of Virginia had a proposal that he's been talking about to replace the gas tax with an increase in the sales tax. And so some of these ideas have been sort of percolating around. Let's talk about property taxes, state sales taxes. Who wants to take a run at that?
A couple of things right off the bat. The concern that with sales tax, whether you're increasing it in general or say you want to expand it to clothing, which was one of the proposals that was heard in the Senate, I believe, this week, was increasing or adding the sales tax to clothing, is that the sales tax in general is viewed as being regressive. And what that means is that it hits the lower income population more than it does the higher income population. And so I have grave concerns when there's talk about whether it's replacing the property tax with a sales tax, or it's a situation where we're going to extend the sales tax to either clothing or food or to services. That's really going to hit our lower income population and our middle class families much harder than anybody else, and I think that's a huge concern given our economic kind of fragility right now. We're kind of on the economic recovery end of things, and I don't want to see that go away by hurting consumer confidence by adding some of these sales taxes to whether it's clothing or other things. So,
other thoughts on the intersection of property taxes and sales tax? Anybody?
I just can't. I could not foresee a property tax being replaced by a sales tax. For the simple fact that it does hit you'd have to raise it so much. You'd have to double or triple it to start with to get to the dollar figure. Then you'd have to split it back out to all the little places that have the cities that fund themselves by property taxes, or the counties, or any of the local governments. And I think everybody at the legislature has some kind of a tax that they're talking about this year, or whatever. And I think we'll have a million different things coming up. Hopefully, what we get is a fair or flatter tax.
Other thoughts?
I think that the question is very clear about property taxes, and I think that is a problem that we need to address. Clearly, we have seen the charts in the Senate. Property taxes have been going up since 2000. So we have to address that issue. I have several constituents in my district. I represent a working class district where people really cannot afford to pay the taxes. They have a fixed income. And my sense is that if we are not able to come together and really look at several sources of revenue, it's true that some of these sources are regressive, but they will help us solve some problems. And not all of it could be put into that pot, because it's clear that we cannot use revenue that is regressive. But certainly it helped us solve a significant problem for seniors in my district. This is a significant problem. Many people are being forced to leave their homes because they cannot afford their taxes. And this has been almost 10 years of this growth. So I think we need to address it. And I don't have any excuse to do it anymore. We have to address property taxes. It's been a really very long term of steady increases on property taxes, and we need to fix that.
I did a little study on this whole issue of property taxes a couple of years ago, and did some reading back historically. In 1963, this was talked about at how high the property taxes were. And so the state came up with a program called Local Government Aid. And what they did is they created a sales tax for the first time that was used to help reduce property taxes. 4 years later, that worked so well, property taxes increased 16%. So they increased the sales tax so that they could increase local government aid. 20 years later, the legislative auditor did a study, a 20-year study on how all of that had worked out. And it was kind of interesting that in saying that no matter the amount of money of local government aid that was sent to the local units of government, the property tax relief was minimal. But what they did is they used the money to increase spending in some area. And then later on, that increased spending, it's always hard to reduce. So it tended to foster ever-increasing property taxes, and probably almost more in the sense of when you kind of go through that pattern, it seemed like a concept of raising one tax to help offset another tax only ends up with both of them going ever higher. And so I just have real concerns with the idea, which sounds worthy, but I don't know that we really have such a huge revenue problem to begin with. I think that some of our, at least on our state government level, but I think the local government property taxes seems to be an issue that also more control. We have the statewide commercial industrial property tax that was started during Governor Ventura's time back in about 2000 and so that was a substitute for the state general education tax. Mm-hmm. And now we have compounding issues. So the big thing is when you go back, you almost hear the same things today that were said back in 1963. And so it makes you wonder, are our solutions working, or is there something else, even in a bigger picture, that needs to be done? But I agree with you on the dismay, especially for those who are on fixed income. It hits them particularly hard, although the property tax refund program was increased over the last 2 years to help offset and help give some relief, especially for those folks.
Other thoughts on property taxes? We kind of morphed more generally into property taxes. Anybody else want If not, we'll move on to education. A viewer from Pelican Rapids wonders whether or not it's time to end open enrollment in public schools. I think from this question, the viewer is not a supporter of open enrollment. So, and we do get this question from time to time. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll go from there to K-12 education more generally. Open enrollment. Who wants to take a run at that? Should we start with you? How about you?
I've really spent more time on the higher ed and workforce training stuff, so not altogether as familiar probably as Senator Torres Ray. But there was just a study out, I believe, that kind of led me to believe, as I read the premise of the study, because frankly I get 20 or 30 studies a week. I try to read the executive summaries, that open enrollment is leading to more segregation. It's a new form of segregation. So it is certainly something that should be looked at. And does it have to be eliminated or gotten rid of? Or does it just need to be, I guess I'll call it tweaked, changed a little bit to make it a little less, because it's just not, it's defeating the purpose of trying to move people and have our society be a more blended society. We're going to be working, whether they're with people from India or from Russia or from Africa someplace, over the next 50 to 100 years. The world has just become smaller and smaller, and we need our children to understand that this is a smaller and smaller world. We know how to work with them.
I'll pick up on Representative Mahoney's hint. Senator Torres Ray, let's ask you. What do you think on the open enrollment question?
Yes. It's interesting. I had the opportunity to meet with all the members of the policy committee in the Senate, and this is an issue that didn't come up as a great concern among the members. Clearly, we have reviewed the most recent reports about the high level of segregation that exists in Minnesota. We're very concerned about it because it's growing, and we have really segregation even among minority communities, where we're finding large groups, large concentrations of minority kids in one school in one region. Yeah. So this is an issue that obviously for Minnesota is a new issue in terms of the growth in certain areas. The Twin Cities and other suburban, even some rural sectors have been dealing with it for a long time. But I think that we have some significant programs in Minnesota that have been very successful with, bringing kids to different districts, and they have benefited incredibly. And I think that looking at this through a lens of we're going to change everything because we have seen, some problems in some regions is a mistake. I think Minnesota is very unique in a sense that we have some examples of districts that do amazing work, and we're going to be reviewing a lot of that. So I think that because we have so much autonomy in the districts, because we have some districts that are doing some very unique things with their own communities, we need to review that very carefully and need to figure out, how that works, how do we put it to scale. So that's going to be really the focus of my work during the next 4 years. I don't believe that we have a big problem with open enrollment today.
Representative Anderson, your thoughts?
I think open enrollment really is a tool for students and parents in making sure that their children are receiving the best education possible and in a format that probably works best for that student. My husband happens to be a school teacher in Buffalo, Minnesota, and their school district actually offers a program for students that have an emphasis in art and they want to receive their science classes with a art kind of emphasis with it. And so he teaches physics and ninth grade science, which is a combination of the different sciences, and with an art emphasis. And it's great because he gets students from Brooklyn Park, he gets students from Maple Grove, from all over the metro area that come out to Buffalo for this purpose in particular. And without open enrollment, they wouldn't be able to do it. Now, you also know that I represent the Wayzata School District, Robbinsdale School District, and Osseo School District. And open enrollment is used heavily in those areas. So a lot of folks like to come to those different schools. The Robbinsdale, they also happen to be very well known for their arts, their music in particular. Wayzata has excellent programs all the way around. Osseo as well. So you have a lot of students that are going to these different schools to meet their specific needs and what their parents see as their educational goals for their child. So I think open enrollment is a good tool that we need to keep in place, and that I'd like to see it going forward. And as a parent myself, I'll probably use open enrollment, quite honestly. So,
Senator Kiffmeyer.
I think that the issue is that it's not really perceived, as you said, as a serious problem, at least amongst, things that we hear, valuable tool to parents and kids. I think you've all commented excellently on it, and I would support that.
It's interesting, and we'll leave this topic and go to the K-12 education a little more generally, but that particular question came from Pelican Rapids, and over the 24 years that I've done this program, it's interesting because you do find in some rural areas in Minnesota concerns about open enrollment, and I'm sure you've heard about that, and so it's interesting how these issues intersect with representatives from both urban and rural areas. So, but in any event, we'll move on and let's talk about K-12 education generally. This is a budget year, of course, and so perhaps one of the largest pieces of the budget that the legislature will be considering is how we fund and what we should be doing in the K-12 education area. And let's talk a little bit about that. Who wants to take a run at what they think might be happening this year? Should we start with you, Representative Anderson?
Sure. I'm interested to hear what the education policy senator has to say.
See, I got it. Okay, forget it. We're going to talk with you. So let's go ahead, Senator. We'll take Representative Anderson's suggestion. Senator, tell us what you think.
I hope we all get to talk.
Oh, you'll all get to talk. That's the great thing about this program.
Yeah.
We've got an hour here. We're going to get it covered. But
Absolutely.
Senator, let's
We just
start
want to
with
put you on the spot first.
No. I think that's fine. Well, I am just thrilled with the opportunity really to talk about this issue. And for me, the opportunity really here is to recommit to children. I think that is the problem that we have right now. We can talk about many issues in education, but to me what is clear is that Minnesota has been an example for the nation. We have invested in education. We have some schools that are doing great work, as I said earlier. They are using their levies, they are using their resources to do some incredible things. And I intend to review that because I think part of the problem that we have right now is that we are relying on local property taxes, we are relying on local revenues to really pay for these models. And so part of what I would like to do is review to what extent, these local communities are paying for this work that we value. So for me, this is the priority. I believe that we need to deliver on that. Most of our members run on this issue. Really, commitment to our kids, to our communities is number one. And we need to review how do we pay for that? How do we pay for quality education for all of our kids? We talk a lot about the inequities that exist in Minnesota right now. We have significant problems with graduation rates. In the African American community, 53% of our kids are not graduating, only 47% graduate. Latinos, the same number. We've been talking about this since I came to this state. I came here 25 years ago, and we've been talking about these numbers. So this is an opportunity for us to figure out what are we going to do about it. What is working out there? How are local communities investing resources and energy, being creative? And that's what I would like to do. I want to talk about resources. I want to talk about talent. I want to talk about, what our children deserve. And I think it's time. I think we have neglected this for quite some time, and we see now the consequences.
K-12 education. Let's talk to you, Representative Anderson.
Sure. Well, this fall we had the opportunity, the Minnesota Business Partnership puts on a dinner every year in the fall, and they highlight different entities that have done good work within the community. And they highlighted actually one of the charter schools that we have in Minneapolis, and I apologize, but the name is escaping me right now. And this charter school has done amazing work in closing the achievement gap. And I think that we as legislators, policymakers, need to be looking at these examples and replicating the work that they've done. And one of the key elements that they highlighted from this school district, from this charter school, was the amount of time that students get with the teachers that kind of one-on-one time that they get to do. And I think a lot of what we need to achieve in making sure that our kids are receiving the best education is more about the policy end of things and not so much about the financing end of things. And they've been able to do good work on a minimal level of financing, and I think that it's because of the policies they've enacted within their school district to achieve some of these goals. And that's not to say that I'm not saying that it's very important for us to make sure that we're funding our schools and providing them with those resources that they need to help our students grow. But I think it's remarkable in just kind of the change in attitude that they've had. And we've had some other policy measures here in the last 2 years that we've passed that I think will help to move that forward, from everything from alternative licensure to making sure that we're getting teachers with great background experience into the classroom, as well as our teacher evaluation system and our principal evaluation system, to making sure that our teachers are receiving the kind of feedback they need to grow as a professional in the classroom too. So those are some really great elements that we have in the works right now, and I'm looking forward to the progress that they will make in helping to close the achievement gap, which I think is important, and just provide the best in education for our kids. So some exciting things on the horizon. So,
Senator Kiffmeyer?
I love this subject because, it's been something that as I grew up my years, I've often said before, almost none of us remember our buildings, but remember our teachers. Mm-hmm. You can remember the teacher who, second grade, even now, even to this day, I can still remember those teachers. And I think that's what's really important, is making sure that every student, because when they're in fourth grade, they have 1 year in fourth grade, 1 year in first grade. They have about 3 years to learn to read. If you don't get them then, you don't make sure you have that all hands on deck, really focused. I think the greatest thing you can do in closing the achievement gap is making sure that right from the get-go, especially in those years that are so crucial. In my school district in particular, I think seeing what we have here today, we have a little different issue. We have a growth. A lot of new kids. You go to our churches, you go to our grocery stores, and it's just kids all over the place. But the problem is you need to build buildings, and so a lot of our per pupil funding is going to debt service because of the need for the buildings. As compared to some other places that have established buildings, their issues are sometimes maintenance, but that's a little bit less. And we have the growth situation, but it really is. It puts a lot of burden on that. On top of that, on the per pupil, on that particular basic part of the formula, in the Minneapolis-St. Paul inner city urban areas, they get about $14,500 on their per pupil. Out in my district, we get about $8,500. That inequity and that discrepancy just from the get-go. And every year when you raise it, say, 1% or whatever it is, the gap that's how the gap got to widen, because on that percentage basis. And so, for us, it isn't just that we have the buildings and you have the maintenance, but we don't have that. And also, for our folks back home, the biggest message to them is untie our hands. Don't say you have to do this with this chunk of money or do this here. You have to do it, but don't tie us up like the 2% staff development. That to them, they wanted more flexibility so that they could develop for their teachers and certainly spend money on that. But there are times where the teachers would say, we'd rather have IT. We'd rather spend that money on being able to have some of those things, and it ties their hands to really do the best by their students. And I think just speaking to that is just a really important area that I hope we can maybe make some work on. And I think the grad rates is really important. And something that's been around for me for many, many years is that every child is a gifted child. Our job is to find their gifts and then help them to be flourishing in them. Some are really good. I have the kid's son who's the inventor software, CAD development, really did a new wheel. It's amazing. Yes, you can. And so you go through some of it, but not everybody is designed for that. There are great jobs out there in the tech area, the manufacturing and the robotics and the hands-on, where car mechanics, very good things. And I wonder sometimes, especially in high school, if we might not be able to have a better grad rate if we kind of said, your gifts is the hands-on, mechanical, you just kind of get it. They look at the engine and they listen to it and they can figure it out. And so I wonder about some of those kinds of things really helping. That's really important. And I visited 2 schools. While I was Secretary of State, I actually visited 250 schools thereabouts. One of them was way up in northwest rural Minnesota. I had a building so run down, I was shocked. Even in my conservative area, we would have supported a referendum to replace that. But the kids there, over half of them were National Merit Scholars. So when I talked to them, I said, obviously the building is not the key. What is the key? And they said, our teachers really care. They will do anything for us, sometimes too much. And interesting hearing that from the kids. And another school that I visited was right here in inner city Minneapolis. Not many Norwegian Swedish kids were there, and a lot of 3rd and 4th graders very heavily. And talked to the principal again, extraordinary success, asking him why. And his statement to me was, we have a no excuse. No excuse from the kids, no excuse from the parents, no excuse from the teachers, no excuse from us in leadership. He said, we take what we've got. These kids need this year to be the best year that they can have. Those kind of feed into my attitudes, legislating-wise, that I think are really important. So I just thought I'd share those kinds of ideas on the subject.
Representative Mahoney, your thoughts?
Well, I think we've covered quite a bit of it here.
We have covered quite a bit of territory.
When you're number
right.
4, it's hard.
I'm very proud of the school district at St. Paul. They passed their levy. They're going to do the technology. Because, frankly, if we don't, whether it's the teachers or the school building or the parents or whatever, if every child is not 2 years of post-secondary education by the year 2020, 2025, they're pretty much not going to succeed in this world. I mean, I do workforce. How do we train and bring employees to the employers of the state? And the technology, and you brought it up, the technology that's coming into the workplace today is phenomenal. But the more phenomenal part about it is that it will be obsolete in 5 years. And one of the things what St. Paul did is they passed the technology referendum. And we're going to spend $9 million in technology. The sad part is that in 5 years, that technology will be obsolete, and we'll have to do it all over again. So whatever way we find to close the achievement gap, because I was one of those students in school that the only reason I kept going to school was shop class. But there's really no shop class anymore in schools. I'm a bright kid and all the other stuff, but the only reason I really wanted to go to school was to go work on that metal lathe, and henceforth I became a pipe fitter. There's no metal lathes in schools any longer for whatever reason. And that's where we're having our problem. It's certainly we have young women that are dropping out of school and not graduating, but it's a bigger problem for the young men. And if we don't figure out that particular piece of it, whether it's with technology or VOTEC training in the high schools, which would be very, very expensive, we will have the workforce problem 15 years from now.
It's interesting to hear you make that argument because Representative Bob Ness, who used to be on this program with some regularity, would frequently make the argument that we made a mistake in abandoning a vocational emphasis, and so it's interesting.
Well, the vocational, I've done this with the tech schools, and it just drives me crazy. It's so much cheaper to educate a liberal arts student than it is a pipe fitter, because you can only educate 12, 15 pipe fitters or plumbers or electricians in a class. Mm-hmm. But you can educate 40 liberal arts students, or whatever those type, in a lecture hall. And that's the problem. We can talk about not investing money in our schools or doing it less expensive or $8,000 versus $14,000. That's not the point. The point is, what does the society need 5 years, 10 years, and 25 years out? And we need to make that investment, whether it costs us $8,000 or $14,000 or $20,000 per student, because the countries that are passing us by in manufacturing and all the other things that we all consider ourselves the best at are spending $18,000, $20,000, $25,000 a year on their students, and their students are coming out. They have graduation rates of unbelievable levels. Different educational system than we do. I just did I've been looking at the German model, particularly in its apprenticeship programs.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of money to bring kids through high school and into an apprenticeship program. But I think being the banker of Europe is always a better place to be than.
Well, we've covered some territory here that we have not covered in recent years, and I want to thank the panel for that. An interesting conversation. A viewer from Pope County wants to talk about a little different topic. This viewer is concerned about what he's read about the way the House is organized. He's concerned that agriculture is being diminished, and he says we should put ag finance and policy together. It's a little bit of in-house baseball, but it is a question that has come up and is important to some of our rural viewers. Who wants to take a run at that? Maybe
I'll go with that one because
we'll start with you because
I was flat
the
out
House organized, and then
today.
we'll go around the table.
I was
Let's do it.
flat out insulted today. One of the tweets that went out from one of our colleagues said, what was it? I could pull up my phone and get it. But essentially, oh my God, just check with House Research, liberal Democrat from Minneapolis, Tim Mahoney is in charge of the Rural Finance Agency. Well, I'm insulted. I'm from St. Paul. I'm from Minneapolis.
Just setting the record straight. Right?
Just setting the record straight. If anyone ever at the Capitol had a doubt. I think it's a Trojan horse, to be honest with you. They do have, the Rural Finance Agency has come into my particular portfolio finance committee. We had them in there today. They talked about how they help livestock, buildings, value added, a variety of other things. So let's see, I have 2 or 3 farmers on the committee. I have myself, who spent my summers, well, I actually spent way too many summers on the family farm out in Redwood Falls. It actually is out in Renville. I think it's Renville. It's Morton, Minnesota. And my father will roll over in his grave if I get the county wrong. And frankly, I understand that ag is 10% of our economy. And it's a complement to another 20-25% of our economy in the state. And that's something you fool around with. How do we, as a state, move forward with farming? And how do we grow the economy in greater Minnesota? Because back when my dad was on the farm and when I went out there, when I actually even less long ago, when I would go out there during the summer, there was 5 farms down the road. There was the Lordens, the Sullivans, the Mahonies, and so and so. Now there's one. There's one. And all those families have moved into town, into Richfield. Wait a minute, who's got Richfield? It doesn't matter. You.
I do.
And Oakdale and all the other places, and they're all here. They're all in Twin Cities. And if that continues, and it's been continuing for 40 years, if it continues for another 40 years, you can go out to North Dakota and see exactly the ghost towns that we'll have in St. Paul or in Minnesota. So ag finance, ag policy, one committee, that's not the point. The point is, how do we make rural economies work around the agricultural base?
Representative Anderson, your thoughts on that?
Well, I love you, Tim, but I got to strongly disagree with you.
I am from St. Paul.
Yeah, well, I go for it. And you know what? I grew up in, like I mentioned earlier, I grew up in Atwater. I actually grew up on a dairy farm, and my brothers still farm. And I think about them, and I think about what voice do they have when the person that they're supposed to go to when they're talking about ag issues is Gene Wagenius, who is from Minneapolis. And, I think that the ag community in general has truly lost a voice at the Capitol. It has been the tradition at the Capitol that ag has their own committee. And the great thing about the ag committee has been they're usually the first ones done with their bill, and it usually passes with bipartisan support. But now they're going to be lumped in with environment issues, which is, in a lot of times, they're at loggerheads with each other. For whatever reason, I don't know, because it doesn't make sense, because the farmers we have today are about maximum production. They are about preserving the soil that they have, because without good soil and without good water, they cannot produce the products that they do today at the level that they do today. They were green before green was trending. And they've done a fabulous job. And I think it's a huge disservice to our egg community in general to see that we now have put that under a Minneapolis lawmaker, not St. Paul, and that we are putting the entire finance portion under that. And I think there's a huge gap in understanding of what the concerns are that they have in their community that aren't going to be heard. You know, as being committee chair, you have a very limited timetable. So not only are you covering two different subjects, but you're also limiting the amount of time that's going to be able to be spent on ag alone. Before, they had their own committee, their own chair that would be covering all these issues, and there's a huge amount of ag issues to cover. We even saw that on the federal level when you look at Colin Peterson being upset in the fact that they couldn't pass a farm bill.
Poppy as the ag policy chair,
and all of those bills have to go through Gene Wagenius.
You have Andrew Fall as the committee vice chair. So you have farmers involved in this. And
let's name the other members of the committee.
And then I think it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you had the same thing. You had environment, ag, and
Brooklyn Park,
North Minneapolis area.
So I mean, you have a whole host of metro legislators that are going to be determining the financing for the ag community, and for folks that are from whether it's Polk County, whether you are from Kennebec County, whether you are from let's see, down from Worthington, if you're from Baudette, the whole host of different counties in our state, but they're being represented by a Minneapolis lawmaker who's miles and miles away.
They're not being represented by a Minneapolis legislator.
She's the one that's going to determine the budget.
They're being represented by their own representative, and their own representative has to go to Jean and talk to her.
And I think
Jean is the most approachable woman at the Capitol.
I think it
she may not always agree with you or I.
I think it also speaks to the fact that when you have this situation, the tradition has been.
No, absolutely is not. It has not. It has not. No, it has not. It's within 10 years. Within 10 years ago, under a Republican House, we had we did not have an ag finance separately.
With a majority of rural legislators on that committee.
Senator Kiffmeyer, do you want to weigh to this, or should we move on?
They're senators. They're not supposed to get into
That's right. It actually is a House issue.
We love the House debate.
Well, and for them, and it really is. This really is in particular that way. And I would join in wholeheartedly by saying that ag should have its own whatever. I just do. Because I think if you have 10% of the economy, another 20% indirect, I think it does that. And I think symbolism matters. I think what the farmers and the ag members and others like that say, this is a sense of the direction because of that kind of lack of understanding. And I just think it's kind of interesting because you have a Democratic Farmer Labor Party and you have a situation here where you don't have now a ag farm committee.
You know, in the Senate, not more than 6 years ago, you had the Jobs, Ag, and Environment under Dallas Sams. So you had the environment and ag under a rural legislator, didn't you? I guess it's just the same. And no one complained about Dallas Sams being in charge of the environment. I mean, now all of a sudden
Dallas Sams is from St. Paul.
It's just a very.
He wasn't from Minneapolis either.
No,
Got that clear.
No.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Dig into this because this is an interesting, just from a personal experience. When I was elected in 2006, I was invited by Senator Sharon Erickson Ropes to visit her community, and we went into these small farms and talk about the incredible amount of work that farmers have to really do in order to make very little money. And her point, the reason she invited me is because I've been, a strong advocate for minorities, talking about low-income families and equity. And she said, well, I'm going to invite you to see inequities in this world, and we're going to visit these farms for 2 days. So we went, and clearly, especially in the milk industry, the dairy industry, 4 in the morning, people were up working 12 hours a day, nonstop.
Only 12?
7 days a week, 365 days. So after 2 days, I came back home, and it was just really an amazing experience for me. And so I made a commitment to come back and to do this work with her. And the following visit, we had this interaction with farmers that are practicing sustainable farming. And they were talking about how they want to open markets in the city. And so they showed me this map, and they said, you know, we want to really, we want you to promote our products in the city. We want you to promote the work that we do here. And we want consumers to consume our products. And we want you to do whatever it takes to get us there. And so they opened this map, and they said, we have some big restaurants and grocery stores that are doing that already. And we want to show you where they are. And they opened that. And guess what? They are in my district. They are in Jean Wigenius's district. The Birchwood Cafe, you know, the co-op, which is one of the largest buyers, the sewer co-op, is actually in her district. It is in my district. I made a commitment 6 years ago that I have to do this, and I have to travel, I have to see what is going on. I think that there is a significant problem here in Minnesota, and it speaks to the segregation issue. I'm determined to work on this. If I don't speak for a farmer, I shouldn't expect you to speak for my black kid in the inner city. We're going to talk about the farmer. I am going to talk about the farmer because the farmer is important to this community of mine, which is the state of Minnesota. And I expect the farmer to talk about my black kid and what's going on in the inner city. If we don't do this, we're not going to resolve this problem. So for me, that is the fundamental issue. I don't know about reputations because clearly we all have reputations, and we're going to be dealing with that. But I think that what we have to do is perhaps this conversation is going to really give a clear understanding to Representative Wigenius that you have an expectation about how she should interact and talk about farmers. She has a farm. She has children who live in a farm, who work in a farm, and she literally moves out of the city into the farm. So to me, this is a fundamental issue. If we don't believe that I could speak about farmers, you have a problem. If you don't believe that I could be educated about farmers because I live in the inner city, we have a problem. And if I believe that you cannot go out and talk about my kids,
that's not the issue at all. The issue is that you've got a situation where, imagine if I were to come in and say, okay, I am now going to represent all the issues for the inner city district that you have.
But you have a committee, Representative.
What I'm saying to you is for the farmer and how it's all about understanding. There is a reason that we have 134 House members and 67 senators. It's because of the founding fathers of our state that we have said we need to have equal representation for all the interests within the state across the state of Minnesota. So each legislative district is set up so that you have a member representing you. And then it's divided up by the different committees that we have. But when you're dividing it up that way, you're also saying we're going to make sure that these individuals from all these different segments have a voice. We have an Iron Range contingency. It would almost be.
But they don't have their own committee.
But yes, they do. They have the IRRB.
That's not even
that determines how they spend the money.
That's not a legislative.
It's all by legislative. It's all legislators that are on that committee. You have to be a certain member of.
Committee.
It is.
It is not. It does not have.
You have to be a legislator to serve on the IRRB
at the state capitol. Do you have an IRRB committee?
Do you not have to be a legislator to serve on the IRRB?
I don't think you do.
Yes, you do.
We're not going to resolve this issue. I will just what I will say with respect to this question of the House organization, because I think we've pretty well dealt with that. But whatever the organization structure is in place now, I presume it's going to be that way through the end
2 years.
For the end of the end of the 2-year term, right? So that I think is responsive to the viewer's question, which is it going to continue? And the answer seems to be yes. Okay, let's move on. We have a viewer from Big Lake, your territory, who wants to know what is the panel's opinion of the DNR having too much authority? And we have a viewer from Lakefield who's concerned that the DNR and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service are continuing to buy land, and this viewer doesn't think they should do that. Those questions aren't necessarily related, but they've got sort of a common component with respect to DNR authority. Since it comes from Big Lake, let me ask you, Senator Kiffmeyer, what about DNR authority and DNR issues?
Well, that is a very frequent issue, and especially in my area, it really is. And I think it's a fairly common one across the state. And every now and then you can have a agency that gets a little bit more power than maybe is necessary, and especially with rulemaking. And what I've heard from people more, it's less concern about some of the DNR than the rulemaking, the rules going on. I come from an area that has a fair number of lakes, and so I hear about this a lot in some of the water areas and things like that they do. So there is a concern about that. One of the things in the proposals we had last year was that they could go ahead and promulgate rules, but the rules had to be brought back to the legislature so that the legislators could see, did these rules follow what the statute had told them to do, or did they go a little bit beyond that? And it just gave an opportunity to just have a chance, especially in that area. But that was not okay. But what did get through and signed into law was to the legislature, and I think it's due this week or last week somewhere, maybe January 15th, that any rules that had been made during the past year for any one of the committees, to both the chair and to the ranking member or the minority, what rules did you do just this past year? So at least we just knew and were informed. That's a good thing. But that's the sorts of things that DNR generally, in the buying of the land, is told to buy the land by the legislature. So that's always an issue, and you have not only and DNR sometimes is the buying vehicle or the buying tool, you might say, for accomplishing that. But whether it's legacy money, there's a variety of funding things, straight out legislation, things like that. And there have been concerns over the past few years that the amount of land owned by the state of Minnesota, whether the DNR is the purchaser or the manager or anything else, has gotten to be more and more, and especially like, say, the county of Mahnomen, after a while, your county hardly has any funding anymore because it becomes non-taxable land, and you have PILT, which doesn't replace that tax money at 100%. So there's a whole variety of issues around that, but you hear about it enough to realize that it might be important for us to carefully consider how much more power we give the DNR.
DNR issues, anyone else?
Well, I don't disagree that we have to be careful what powers we give to the DNR, but frankly, it certainly seems over the last few years it's been the legacy money that's been driving the purchase of land. I'm not sure what we can do with that because that's a constitutional
But the Constitution doesn't require us to buy land. It just requires us to spend it on three areas in particular, and so it doesn't require us to buy land, though. That's a legislative decision.
Unfortunately, the hooks and bullets crew comes up to the Capitol and, pounds on the door and says, just pass what they did, just pass what they did, just pass what they did.
You're talking about the legacy
right.
advisory committee recommendations.
And they seem to be able to get 68 votes in the House and 34 in the Senate, and they get that done. And Legacy's been driving that for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's tough once you constitutional amendment. It's you're kind of in a box with that. So,
DNR issues. Anything on that?
Yeah, I think one of the concerns, I used to serve on the Environment Finance Committee, actually, and one of the concerns that we had is the DNR's capability to know how much land they have purchased, and they don't necessarily have a good record keeping of that. Yes, I'd like to see some focus on that.
Senator, any thoughts on DNR question?
Well, I think the whole issue around rules and policy with DNR is quite a complex issue. I served in the Environment Committee in my first 4 years, and I think these numbers have even gone up. The bulk of the DNR budget comes from fees today, so we basically don't fund their activities. Now with legacy money, we're doing better, but that money cannot be used for those purposes in terms of really what the duties of the Department of Natural Resources actually are. And so they are funding what they do with fees, and that has happened for the last 10 years. As a result of it, the reason, for why this whole issue on policy and regulation becomes so complex is because they have to figure out how to tell the public what are they doing with their fees in a different way. We're not funding them. So I think that is a very important element, and we need to understand what that means. I think that's why the public really doesn't understand why is that, they are promulgating all of these rules and they're having these hearings and they're explaining to people how this works. Well, because they are funding all of those activities with fees, and I think that's very problematic, and I think we should fix it. But now that we have the legacy money, people are saying, well, they have enough money for environmental purposes, and actually that money doesn't go to do that. So it's an issue we have to resolve, and I think that's why the caller actually wants to know, and that is the reason we are paying for their work with public's fees.
I think it's kind of something that happened last year that's it's really momentous and an amazing process of bipartisanship. And that was Representative Dietrich and Representative O'Driscoll and the School Land Trust. Prior to this, the School Land Trust, and just historically, the land grant that when you become a state back in 1858 here in Minnesota, in that
Got
area.
about a minute left, so go ahead.
Land was given by the federal government, established, and that the revenue from that land would go to the schools. And the DNR had total control of that land and also was paid handsomely for the management of that land, and some legislators thought it had gone beyond what was necessary. So there is now, as of last year, bipartisan effort to create the School Land Trust legislative committee that now has the oversight, and then they hire the DNR, but the control is to that and the funding, and in other states that have done this, tremendous benefits financially and still good stewardship of the land, but to benefit the kids. And that's one example I thought would be good. It touches on DNR and education.
Now we have to see the results of that.
And money.
Yes, indeed. Well,
We'll
our time has run out. I just want to say we opened the program talking about the two Andersons here. I can tell you on May 20, we had Senator Ellen Anderson, Representative Margaret Anderson Kelleher, Representative Sarah Anderson, plus your struggling moderator here. So we have had more Andersons. Thank you all for joining us. We hope you'll be with us next week and all the weeks that follow. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
There's much more about your legislators online at pioneer.org. Find out more about the history of the program, who's been a guest, and watch all our past episodes. There's also a photo gallery, informative links, and much more. You can also get involved and stay in touch by following us on Twitter and join the discussion on our Facebook page. Thank you for watching Your Legislators. Your Legislators is made possible in part by the generous financial support of MAPE members, making Minnesota clean waters, safe communities, quality education, and veterans care happen. We work hard for Minnesotans.